Hi, Jeff the Birdman with you again, and we're back again on the 1988 Ford Mustang GT T-top car. And I told you last video that I found something interesting when dropping the tank on the Mustang, and I wanted to go over that with you with a few things I'm going to be doing to the car here today. First of all, when I dropped the tank, I noticed that the rubber insulator pads that go there and like over here weren't there. I also noticed that the rubber grommet that usually is always destroyed looked actually brand new, if not newer. So that was a little disconcerting to me. Um, the vapor valve seal right there was not even attached to the car, so that explains to me why it was leaking from up top somewhere. Um, I removed everything, cleaned everything, and I pulled out the sending unit. And upon pulling it out, found out that that was actually in pretty new condition as well. I replaced it nonetheless, along with the fuel pump that was also been replaced at some point in time. Cleaned everything up, put it all back together, and this is what you see here. Now, this is what happens when you buy a used car. You don't know what you got until you start getting into it. So, like I said, upon finding out that the sending unit was recently replaced along with everything else, that leads me to believe that maybe the fuel gauge not working was not the sending unit's fault, that it possibly could be somewhere in the harness or in the gauge cluster area, the float unit or whatever, slosh unit, anti-slosh unit, whatever it's called, that tells the gauges. I don't know. I'm going to have to get into that once I get it back into the tank and go from there. But even though it seemed like at the time kind of a waste for me to have bought the new fuel pump and everything, the sending unit, whatever, at the same time, it is a benefit to know now that what I have is what I put into it. That I know what's inside of the tank now. That the tank is cleaned, the outside's cleaned, the stuff in that I put back in is new, and that's all going to be squared away. So I'll just have to go through, unfortunately, and figure out what may be the issue with the gauge not working. But anyways, a couple things I want to get into before I talk about anything else is, if you're someone like me who likes to be attention to detail, on things and keep things either original or just plain old clean looking, something that I would invest in getting to help clean your parts, clean underneath your car, the underneath areas before you put things back, just so it looks nicer and, you know, will keep things from getting destroyed further, is a product called Purple Power. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. You can get it at any local Walmart. For me, it's the best cleaning product I've ever found. And I use it for everything. I use it to clean my cement, oil stains. I used it underneath my Foxbody to clean the rear end and all the gunk and varnish that was under there. Even, my rims, just make sure if you do it on any kind of stainless steel or aluminum, any kind of rim really, that you spray it on and then wash it off real good. Only let it sit for a minute or two, and then use soap and water to, get any extra residue off. Don't ever try to get it on paint unless you're, real quick about getting it off, because it will tarnish and ruin your paint. But Purple Power, it's a great product. I stand by it 100%, and it's cheap. It's the cheapest cleaning product that I've found. You can get, the gallon bucket size for, I believe, $5 or $6, something like that. And it goes a long way. You can dilute it and make it last even longer, or you can do what I do and just use it full strength. And it can be used for anything. It can be used cleaning your kitchen, your bathroom, whatever. Even carpet and clothes, I've found you can use it on. So it's a good product. Like I said, I stand by it, and I would suggest, if you're someone like me who likes to make things look nicer than they did before and keep them that way, use Purple Power, clean underneath your car, get every little bit, That way, instead of a dirty, crummy looking gas tank or whatever you're doing, it's nice and clean like this. Almost looks new, honestly, Something else I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing the SVE rear upper and lower control arm kit. This came actually with my car, along with all these parts, the proportioning valve, lug nuts, thermostat, gasket, and this right in here, Hyperflex energy suspensions. All the front suspension bushings and hardware, even the transmission mount, sway bar link, everything. And I didn't know that, but once I read the guide that was in it, the parts list, I found out it's all the front stuff. I wish I would have known that earlier, because I would have installed all that before I refurbished and went back to 4-lug. But that came with my car. And that's another thing I want to quickly talk about is in the background there is a 69 Mustang GT Fastback. Real quick, I want to show you the GT cap. That's one of the few little tidbits on the car that you can tell it's a GT. Beautiful car, by the way. A lot of work's been done to the car. The paint's actually 10 years plus old. Engine nice and fresh. Beautiful car. But it is going to be repainted, because this is Raven Black, and its original color was Black Jade, which is a really dark green. Excuse me. Anyways, but going back to the Foxbody and just buying a project car in general, I got a great deal on my Fox, and like I said, it came with all the extra and new parts that I'm going to be installing. And it's a good idea that if you're looking for a deal, ask the guy, hey, you got any extra parts to go with the car? And if the guy has a bunch of parts that he had that he didn't get to installing, great, because at least then when you put it on, what has been done. Because like I said, the gas tank fiasco so far, I'm a little disappointed with, because I bought all these parts, and most of them, it seems, didn't need to be replaced, because the fuel pump worked. I was just replacing that since I was getting in here, and replacing the sending unit and everything else. I figured, why not, which the sock on the fuel pump was pretty bad. So, like I said, in hindsight, it works out. It's just a little disappointing that I thought that the sending unit was the cause of the fuel gauge not working. 9 times out of 10 it is. But in my case, I don't think it is, unless, I'm wrong somehow. But I'll figure that out along the way when I get it back in. But like I said, It's always a good idea to do your research on the car that you're gonna buy. I got a good deal. I got a bunch of extra parts to go with it. It works out. I may have unnecessarily spent some money on the gas tank, but like I said, at least now I know what I got. And that's the problem, with any used car you buy. Sometimes there's those hidden gremlins, and sometimes you get lucky and things have been done to the car and, you don't have to do them. But either way, it's once you get into the car and working on it, you'll find that you see a little bit more than you did the first couple times around. And hopefully it's good news, but if it's some bad news, address it and, move on like I'm doing. Anyways, that's all I have really for now. I'm going to get on the rear control arm setup and then I'll get back to you. All right? Talk to you later.